you walk with open arms towards the sun. You feel the warmth of the rays, and then you know you're alive, and you don't have to be afraid of anything, cause you know the truth, and the truth is love, yes it is. Wasn't what they said to you or anything.
Welcome to the Bassline. Dr. Ariyana Love is a holistic practitioner with a unique approach to health and healing. She also has vast experience in the realm of researching patents. Brilliant, insightful, and all around fascinating, I am thrilled to welcome back to the Bassline the inimitable Dr. Ariyana Love. How are you this morning, Dr. Love? Thank you so much for taking the time to join us again.
Hi, Jeremiah. It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. I'm very excited for this conversation. So just a few quick announcements before we dive right into this. On December 14th, we're going to have the next 528 frequency jam session in Harlem on 124th and Lenox. And that, of course, is at Rock Mill Fitness. We've been going strong with the series, and I've had the pleasure of meeting some outstanding members of the PRN family. The exact address is 274 Lenox Avenue. Really easy to get to, and just a great place to know about. And yeah, these jam sessions have been a lot of fun. So please come through. We'd love to jam with you. And of course, you can support this show by going to my website. That's jeremiahhosea.com. Buy the theme song for this show, or any number of other pieces of original audio that are available exclusively there, jeremiahhosea.com. Also, of course, I would love for you to support my Substack. Please subscribe for free if you haven't already. If you can be a paid subscriber, that's very much appreciated. But if you don't have the funds right now, don't let that stop you from being a free subscriber. And as well, please become a free subscriber to the Bassline podcast on YouTube. A good friend of mine has expanded our reach by uploading all of these interviews that we've done here on the Progressive Radio Network, and they're all uploaded now to YouTube. So look up The Bassline. Remember, that's Bassline, like the bass line in a song, podcast, and it will pop right up. Please subscribe right away, and please share it with your friends, right? We really need the community to support this conversation, because a lot of people are trying to actively suppress the conversation. A lot of people have sort of faded away and need to get their second wind and get back in the struggle. But all of the urgent matters we discuss here, none of them have gone away, unfortunately. So that's why we're here every week, trying to engage in this critical dialogue. And of course, I'm a chess instructor. I'm the founder of RemoteLearningChess.com. Please sign up for a lesson ASAP. If you've never learned how to play, I will teach you from scratch. If you've learned a little bit, I'll give you some theory to play around with. I'll provide you with resources to work on your game. And if there's a young person or an elder or anybody, frankly, of any age group in your family or that that would appreciate a lesson, hey, it's a great Christmas present, birthday present, all that stuff. Actually, it's really good when you give a kid, whatever little toy or whatever they wanted, but say, I also got you a few chess lessons, right? So there's something that you can use to make a palpable contribution to their formative development. But let's get into this discussion. We have an incredible guest, and Dr. Ariyana Love has been on the Bassline before, and I'm so thrilled for our second conversation. And let's just jump right into the fire, Dr. Love. What have you uncovered recently in terms of these Microsoft patents?
Yeah. Well, there is a Microsoft patent that talks about the biochips, and it's quite interesting. I'm going to read off the patent here. Give the patent number. It is US 5003136A. That's one of them. That's for atmospheric aerosolized spraying with oxides of metals such as aluminum, graphene oxide, and ferric oxide, which is also an iron oxide nanoparticle. They're super paramagnetic. And so they're trying to saturate the kind of carpet bombing. I think they're using drones. They don't look like airplanes anymore. And they're just trying to saturate our skies with toxins and biological and technological weapon systems in order to poison people and get their track and trace technology in everybody. And then there's a Microsoft patent, which I'm going to discuss, and that is patent W02020060606A1. And they pass this off as some kind of theoretical thing, but they're actually doing it. What this Microsoft Bill Gates owned patent enables them to do is, the biochips that we're finding in people's blood, it's basically showing up in a lot of people now, not only vaccinated people, but unvaccinated as well. And these biochips are graphene oxide based, and they are receivers and transmitters. So they can read all of your biometric data and then transmit it through the cloud to the patent holders. And this particular patent, this Microsoft patent, enables the patent holders to send impulses into the person's body, right into the nervous system, right into the brain. They can transmit thoughts through frequency and commands. They're giving commands to action to the vaccinated, especially. Of course, they want it in everybody, but it's very much found in a higher quantity in vaccinated people. And these impulses, they are commands to actions, and it links to the new cryptocurrency, the cryptocurrency being humans. And with this patent, they're able to see if a person is human or if they are a machine or a computer. So they give an impulse to the vaccinated to do something, some command. And if they fulfill this action, they get cryptocurrency in their account. If they do not fulfill this action, they can be cut off. So it's a reward system, and they're able to feed these impulses into people, into human beings. So the new cryptocurrency that they're introducing, it is humans. It's humans, and it's based on the human compliance and human actions or inaction. So that's a pretty damning patent. It really ties everything together. And a lot of people who are unvaccinated have noticed how the people around them who are vaccinated, COVID vaccinated, their behavior changes. They can be very erratic. They can suddenly, they can agree to something one day and the next day totally reject it. And their behavior is very off the wall, very aggressive, very strange, unpredictable. And, it's as if they are being given commands. And a lot of people, have been seeing it. A lot of my clients have reported this to me, about their relatives who are vaccinated. So this sort of explains what's going on. There's also a new study out. It's entitled, hold on. It's CTV News, and the title is Study Compares Heart Risks of COVID-19 Infection in Vaccinated and the Results. So this study basically shows that heart problems in vaccinated people are 3 times more common following COVID infection or injection by the so-called vaccine. So that's another study that's out that's worth mentioning.
Yeah, I've noticed some strange behavior for sure. One person in particular, I noticed a man who's maybe 50 years old just declared himself to be a woman, and I was totally startled by that. And I immediately thought, did the vaccine alter him? Is this another side effect on the seemingly endless list of side effects. You know, a guy who's always had girlfriends and, never gave any indication that he had gender confusion issues, who just, changed his name, sloppily put on makeup and, kind of an awkward outfit. And so I'm a woman now. I was like, I couldn't even recognize the person. And the injection did cross my mind as a possible, agent by which this sudden change in personality occurred. I also remember one friend who I've probably mentioned before. It kind of saddens me. An old friend who I've known for years and years, who really, really, really didn't want to take the shots, felt coerced, felt her back was against the wall. She had young children, couldn't return to work. And of course, I always remind people they put everyone in an economically unstable situation and then applied the mandates. So it's like you're applying pressure to an already sort of weakened and compromised person in a lot of cases. And this friend who absolutely didn't want to take the shot said, I have to take the shot. I can't lose my job, but I encourage you to hold out and don't take it as long as you can hold out. And that was the last I ever heard from that friend. So, and that's been a few years now. There's someone, again, I've known for a long time. And I just wonder, well, what's going on in her mind psychologically? Is it the anxiety? I mean, did she get transformed through some chemical process into an actual branch Covidian through all of this? I just don't know. I can only speculate. But there is the whole element of thrombosis, for one. And there's also the list of psychological problems that have even been reported into VAERS, right? Because you have this long list of side effects of all kinds. Of course, I always refer back to Dr. Ryan Cole, I think, made a great description when he said this is the Swiss Army knife of injury and death. And that, unfortunately, includes all kinds of serious psychological ailments. And, not to mention, schizophrenia and absolute, breaks from reality. But let's move into the area of treatment and recovery, because of course, you're operating on multiple fronts, Dr. Love, and as important as anything is the work you do as a healer. And I know you have these detox boxes that you've been putting together, and you have this sort of new initiative to help people get well. Can you tell us what the concept is and what you're up to with that?
Well, sure. And before I get into that, I can comment on these psychological alterations
in
vaccinated people and how they're doing it. They're targeting different regions of the brain, so they can, this nanotechnology can pass the blood-brain barrier very rapidly, within 2-3 hours or faster. And when they are targeting the frontal cortex of the brain, the X chromosome, and they're deleting genetic codes on the X chromosome. What this does is the X chromosome in the frontal cortex is what gives you your identity as a male or a female. So when they are messing with the genome in the frontal cortex, it can actually make somebody kind of unisex or more malleable and changeable in their sexual identity. So yeah, they can induce a person or kind of push a person to be genderless. And that will show up physically as well. It changes their physical appearance. And then the way that they induce these psychotic states and schizophrenia, which is, it came out in the Pfizer documents. They knew that that their technology induces psychosis. I think like 30% of people become psychotic. So what they're doing is they're knocking out genetic codes in the VMAT2 gene, which is at the nape of the neck, and that controls all the 5 neurotransmitters in the brain. So by manipulating the genome in the VMAT2 cells, they can induce psychosis and induce other kinds of neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia. So they absolutely can make somebody psychotic and mentally ill easily, especially if they already had an underlying condition or a slight propensity towards that. Then it can become acute. So that's how they're doing it. They're using CRISPR-Cas9 and graphene oxide nanotechnology to edit the genome.
Wow.
Yeah. And by performing genetic deletions. And that's catastrophic to somebody's health. The injuries are lifelong unless there's some sort of a medical intervention that's natural and can reverse the damage. It will be a lifelong injury. And it does also, when you manipulate the genetic codes and you delete, the God-given natural genetic codes in any cell group in the body, you're reducing a person's lifespan down to between 1 to 3 years, typically.
Wow.
So it can be reversed depending on the severity of the injury. It depends how long it takes, but you have to work with the body system. It's through cellular processes that it's reversed using natural medicines, antioxidants and salt derivatives that repair DNA and restore the cellular communication. These are the things that are the most effective. Repairing DNA, triggering adult stem cell production, boosting the glutathione so your body can detox these poisons. That's very important. So, it is a weapon system that they're using. And in order to reverse it, you also have to have a complete protocol that addresses all of the toxins and poisons that they're using. And then you also need to know how to reverse, to give what the cells need to reverse the damage and restore your God-given genetic codes. And that's a process that takes a few months. It's not a quick thing. It's really not easy to detox people from these weapon systems. But it's also not impossible. And, it's a lot better than dying or suffering, So I have been helping people since 2021. I was the first doctor worldwide to detox people from COVID-19 vaccines. I was targeted for that too with defamation and also 3 attempts on my life, which I survived each one. I was severely poisoned twice and then also physically beaten and hospitalized. But I managed to escape that time and managed to detox the poison. And it was the same technology that the vaccinated get poisoned with. And it took me 3 months to detox it all and get my energy back and get my blood cleared from it.
Wow.
So what I'm working on right now, I don't like to leave anybody behind. And I really have a kind heart, and I care about everyone. And people who are in a low income need help as well. So I have put together a detox box concept where, this is for people in a low income. And so it has 5 different natural medicines. It has Masterpiece, sodium chloride, blue-green algae, turpentine, which comes from the pine sap. That's for killing parasites. And then also it has my Forest Euphoria, which is a new product. I spent 2 years in the mountains in 2 different regions studying these medicines, these 7 medicines, and combining them in a formula that is DNA repairing. So this Forest Euphoria product that I have, it's an elixir. It's many times, it's about 20 times stronger than a normal tincture. So and the process to make it, I wild harvest the medicines. I use steam distillation and alcohol fermentation. So it's a long process. So it's the price is a little bit more than a tincture, but it's not a tincture. It's so much more. But I also kept it quite low, the price. Like it should be, I studied the market, it should be about $90 for a 2-ounce bottle, but I've got it priced at $65 to make it a little affordable, more affordable to people. But it does so many things. It's like, what does it not do? It's antimicrobial. So it works to detox these genetically modified fungus, genetically modified bacteria, and parasites that they're spraying us with and injecting people with. It is also a pain reducer and anti-inflammatory. It's a natural antibiotic. It's a treatment for HIV and AIDS and autoimmune conditions. It does give you a euphoric feeling. It increases the vitality in your cells because it's the nutrients are more like super nutrients, and they absorb readily into the cells, like immediately. So people feel a euphoric feeling when they use it. It elevates your mood. It's an antidepressant. What else? It rescues mitochondria. It reverses radiation damage in the cells. And it's also an aphrodisiac. I wasn't going for that, but it's part of what these medicines do. Yeah. And it boosts testosterone. So it's this all around powerful medicine. And that's the stage that I'm in right now, is researching what to do to reverse the DNA damage. There's a lot that can be done also with diet. And I'm also in the process of writing an article with all the natural remedies that reverse blood coagulation, because that's a really, really big deal. Graphene oxide, which is what they're saturating with us with, it coagulates the blood in minutes. It's a very, very, very strong toxic poison. When people handle graphene oxide in the laboratory, they have to wear a hazmat suit and a respirator and gloves because they can't touch the substance. It's so toxic. Yet they're, spraying us with it and injecting people with it and putting it in food. Anyway, there are solutions, and it's not any one thing. It's not any one medicine. It's going to be a combination of things, just because when you to reverse this, to truly detox and reverse this damage, you have to empower the cells of the body. You have to work with the cells and give them what they need. Otherwise, and by doing so, you bring them back into the fight, because like graphene oxide accumulates in the body. All of these toxins they're using are gain of function, loss of function. They're lab generated. They're made to be more lethal. They're designed to evade the immune system and go around it and shut it down and accumulate in the body, and they just bog down the immune system, and so the mitochondria go into fatigue, and you literally have to rescue your cells. And once you can do that and chelate and remove the heavy metals and the graphene, then your cells come back into the fight, and they start working with these natural medicines to restore and repair the body. But you've got to know how to do that. And the truth is, most doctors do not know. They're not trained or qualified. Medical doctors are not trained or qualified to read patents. They just administer the drugs, and they don't really know what they're doing. They don't know what's in these drugs. They can't read patents. In fact, reading patents is a very specialized, only specialized fields are trained in that, like a biochemist or a geneticist. And there are very few people in the world who can read patents. So this is part of why medical doctors are going along with the agenda and administering these toxic drugs, because they just don't know. Not knowing is not an excuse. They are licensed to know, but that's what's going on.
Yeah, that's the old Nuremberg defense, right? I was just following orders. So speaking of that, and getting back to the nanotech and the various psyops and the various aspects of the agenda against the public, against the human race, let's get back to this discussion, which you alerted us to last time, which is this whole issue of methylene blue. And you referred to methylene blue as a psyop, I believe. And it did strike me as very strange the way it sort of started appearing, almost being pushed into conversation. And there was that strange series of photos where RFK made sure to show himself depicted taking his methylene blue as he traveled on Air Force One. And he did that, I think, in between advertising McDonald's 2 times. There was a strange, which I found strange. Okay, you're the health secretary and you immediately take the office and advertise McDonald's, which probably should be banned. But it was like there was the McDonald's photo op, and then there was methylene blue, and then another McDonald's photo op. But what's going on with the methylene blue psyop?
Okay, so methylene blue and EDTA are part of the same psyop. They've been pushed by the same people. They want you to take both of them together, and there's reasons for that. So historically, okay, methylene blue and EDTA, they're industrial poisons, and the pharmaceutical companies, the Rockefeller Medicine, was trying to get them approved for use in humans since the inception of the Rockefeller Institute of Medicine, which was allopathic medicine founded about 100 years ago. So methylene blue and EDTA, in a nutshell, they activate and deploy the weapon system, graphene oxide nanoparticles. Both EDTA and methylene, and I've proven this, by the way. I produce the evidence on my Substack. So there are articles there with the evidence. You can go and read them and review it for yourself. It's complex information because it's peer-reviewed literature, it's patent review, but the evidence is there. So in a nutshell, methylene blue, it binds to graphene oxide, the surface of graphene oxide. That means it becomes one with it. And what happens when it binds to and comes in contact with graphene oxide is there is an electrical reaction, a firing effect. It creates electricity. So it actually activates and fuels the graphene oxide devices or nanotechnology. There's microscopic and there's nano-sized, all different kinds of graphene oxide-based technologies that they're using in their weapon system. So it activates it. That's one thing that it does. The second thing that methylene blue does is it binds to the second strand of the DNA. It stains your DNA and your organs and your tissues and your brain. These are nanoparticles, so they pass the blood-brain barrier very rapidly. And it stains and remains in your body because it is a forever chemical. The body cannot naturally detox it effectively. You've got to use a protocol to then get it out. But the worst part about that is that as it's fused to your DNA, it is a mutagen. So it begins to mutate your genome and change the expression of your genes. That's catastrophic to health. That is going to cause DNA degradation and turbo cancers eventually. Now, those are the two main things about methylene blue. Oh, there's a third thing. Methylene blue forces the production of serotonin in the brain to it's such a rate that it's equivalent to using cocaine. But cocaine is safer than methylene blue because at least cocaine does not bind to your DNA and mutate your genome, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not advocating people use cocaine, but my point is
Gotcha.
cocaine is far safer than methylene blue.
Yeah.
So what happens with people who are on methylene blue is it changes their mental state. They become, like a drug addict, and it is addicting. And so that's methylene blue. EDTA also binds to the surface of graphene oxide. And what its purpose is it chelates heavy metals away from the graphene oxide devices. enabling them to work more effectively in the body, because heavy metals, so graphene oxide is super paramagnetic. It has a tendency to attract and metals stick to the surface of it. And that will bog down their devices and prevent them from, it will affect their operability in the body. So that's the first thing that EDTA does. The second thing that EDTA does is it degrades the DNA. It literally dissolves parts of your DNA. That enables the CRISPR-Cas9 to more effectively transfect the genome, do their slice and dicing. That's the second thing. The third thing about EDTA is that it preserves the shelf life of the spike protein production for longer. The shelf life is around 6 months. So once they alter the genome and they encode their spike protein into your cells then just start to replicate with this new genetic sequence, which is a toxic poison that comes right out of your skin and is aerosolized. That has a shelf life of about 6 months. This is why they want people taking repeated injections every 6 months, because it only lasts about that long. But EDTA preserves that spike protein production for a little bit longer. So these are the reasons why they want you, those running the PSYOPs, want you taking EDTA and methylene blue and poisoning yourself with them. Now, it's another component to the weapon system. If the pharmaceutical companies introduced EDTA and methylene blue as some solution, nobody would trust them. Nobody would believe it. Nobody would use it. So they had to have these operatives coming in and creating a grassroots movement to get the people to want to take it and fight for their right to take it. Whereas, if you think about it, they are not approved for use in humans. I mean, on a limited capacity. So EDTA, for example, was approved by the FDA in 1950 for the use of chelating lead from the body. Okay, yes, it will remove lead from the body. But that was 1950. And fast forward, we have much better solutions for removing lead poisoning from the body. You don't have to poison yourself again to get poison out, So that is a limited capacity what it was approved for. It's not allowed to be used as a pill. It's not allowed to be used as infusions for heavy metal chelation. Lead is a very specific metal. The other metals work differently. You can't chelate metals from the body with EDTA. And the people pushing the EDTA are lying about the study. They are misrepresenting them. They are claiming that they're doing something that they're not, because I can read the studies. And it's complicated. It's very complicated information. That's why they're able to fool people. But what the studies say is that EDTA is used to chelate heavy metals in the past in a petri dish, not in vivo, inside the body. In vitro, in the petri dish. That's how they were using it, to purify a specimen so they could study it. So EDTA is used as a transfection agent by Thermo Fisher in their fetal bovine serum. It's literally used to transfect, meaning genetically modify the human genome. So, that's the PSYOP. It's absolutely a PSYOP. I've been studying this for about a year in depth, and I've written these articles to expose it, because right now millions of people are using EDTA and methylene blue, and they have no idea what they're doing to themselves.
Yeah. In fact, when I interviewed you first, I did receive some emails expressing concern about having taken methylene blue, and they were, rather concerned about what you were talking about and had experienced some odd symptoms themselves. And I have to say, our first interview was rather impactful, because I had many people just praising the interview. Some people said they listened to it several times. And I also noticed it attracted a lot of trolls. I was getting attacked after interviewing you, and your name was coming up. But as they say, that means you're over the target. And I would love to hear from you in terms of your Substack. You have a great Substack. You cover a lot of material in there, and I highly recommend that everyone subscribe to Dr. Love's Substack ASAP. That's Ariyana is Ariyana Love, Love. Dr. Ariyana Love. Look her up on Substack. Please subscribe immediately. And tell us, please, Dr. Love, what are some of the items you've covered on your Substack recently? Oh, yeah, and by the way, before you answer, if you would like to talk to Dr. Love, we'd love to hear from you, our astute listening audience. The number is, of course, 888-874-4888, 888-874-4888. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. But what have you been writing about? What have you been covering on Substack, Dr. Love?
Well, my Substack the handle is at Dr. for Dr. Love Ariyana. So it's my last name first.
Okay.
And I expose pharmaceutical scams like, the top pharmaceutical drugs. They're all containing weapon systems, nanotechnology. So I write about that. There's the latest information about Dr. Rainer Fumik and his political persecution, and Dr. Robert Young. They're both put in prison right now, and these are two major leaders that we have in the truth community. Let's see. I also talk about, I have recipes on my Substack, and, well, it's a lot. And then also those articles about EDTA and methylene blue, and you can find those on my Substack.
That's
and I want to invite people who have used methylene blue and have strange side effects to send me their testimonials. Reach out to me, contact me, email me. You can send there's contact forms on my website. So I have my consultation website is Dr. for Dr. Love.live or drlove.live. And there's a contact form there. You can also find a contact form on my online shop website. It's drlovesapothecary.com. And there's a contact form there as well. I would love to publish, and I could do this anonymously. You don't have to have your name with it. But I would like to publish people's testimonials of using either EDTA or methylene blue, where you had side effects. That needs to be circulated. And there is a way to detox. I know it's terrifying to hear this information. I don't think I would be able to speak so confidently about this if I didn't have a solution for people as well. There are a couple of supplements that can chelate graphene oxide nanoparticles, forever chemicals, and they're clinically proven to be able to do so. Masterpiece is one of them. It's totally affordable, and everybody should be on it because they are spraying us incessantly now. That one is very affordable. If you're in a low income, you can use that together with sodium chlorite, which is a salt derivative. Otherwise, you could use Masterpiece and Hosea Redox, at least 8 ounces a day. But honestly, if you have used EDTA infusions or methylene blue, I would use a large quantity of the Hosea Redox for a while. I would do a few weeks at half a bottle a day and flush everything out of your system. That's a very good technique. It's costly, but it works the most effectively. Otherwise, it takes longer, but you can, if you just stay on Masterpiece, it will take a few months, but it will detox that out of your body as well. So there are solutions, and of course, antioxidants are very important. The cells need such a variety of nutrients, and you want to go for the superfoods. Not just any antioxidant, but super antioxidants, and they really boost the immune system, and they can rescue your your immune system they have the power to restore and regenerate your health.
Yeah, you clearly have researched this quite a bit. So if anyone needs help, I recommend contacting Dr. Love. And as she said, if you have symptoms you can report, it really should be documented. And
yeah, we need to make this public because we're at war.
yeah.
And basically, when the PSYOP was rolled out to introduce EDTA, it was introduced by one person in the truth community in the form of pills. We never had EDTA pills before. This is a whole new concept. And, 20 years ago, they'd be shut down and put in prison for such a thing. But nowadays, it's like anything goes. So what alarms me about that first EDTA oral pill is that it had a Pfizer patent in it for track and trace. And I'm sitting there going, what is a Pfizer patent doing in this? How'd you get hooked up with Pfizer? And so I noticed those things. And when I called that person out, they took that off their website and put another oral EDTA pill up that didn't have the Pfizer patent in it. And then the other person, Anna Maria Michalchia, I'll just come out and say it, she is absolutely lying about the research. I can tell you that. And I'm not the only one who knows this. Some of the world's leading experts, I've talked with them, and they won't say it publicly like I will, but they know. And they've confirmed that to me, that EDTA cannot chelate heavy metals out of the human body. It doesn't. That's not what the studies are saying. They're talking about chelation in a petri dish or, in reference to graphene oxide nanotechnology. So that person, Anna Maria, when she came on the scene, she came to me for help because she was poisoned. Her blood was poisoned. And she showed me images of her blood. I guess she said they were trying to kill her. I don't know if she took the vaccine and she was lying about it. Who knows with that person? But she asked me for help. So I gave her a free consultation and I gave her a protocol. And she was using my protocol to detox herself. And 2 months into using my protocol, she began to go public and lie about me and say that my protocol doesn't work. But in month 3 of her detox, she bought more supplements. And I have this all on record. So she was already defaming me before she finished her detox, but she continued her detox. And so I saved her health, saved her life, because she had died and come back to life. And then she turned around and defamed me and sold the public EDTA. And she has been on a rampage to attack every single natural medicine that chelates heavy metals from the body, like Hosea redox, like Masterpiece, and blue-green algae, the E3-AFA blue-green algae. There's one strain that is toxic called blue-green algae, and there's a strain that is the world's top superfood called blue-green algae. So, that's how she was able to manipulate people away from using that, by saying that it's toxic, because people didn't know the difference, as there's 2 different types of strains. Okay, so this is the kind of manipulation that she does. And, the fact that she attacked me and defamed me and damaged my career, and by putting me on the sidelines, and she went on her Substack and said I'm not a real doctor. And so by putting me, putting me down like that, and her followers, the methylene blue and the EDTA ended up spreading all around the world, and millions of people are poisoning themselves right now with it. And it's very sad. So I'm talking about it, publicly, because this is the truth and people need to know about it. There's a backstory to her rolling out this PSYOP. I was seen as a very big threat because I'm using the world's top chelators. We have natural solutions for heavy metal chelation. We don't need to be poisoning ourselves.
Yeah, seriously. And yeah, we're down to the home stretch here. We have about 10 minutes to go, but I would love for you, Dr. Love, to just give us some orientation in terms of, suppose someone heard this interview and suddenly became alert and wanted to detox and wanted to be more aware, and just suppose you inspired some vigilance in our listeners. What are some just general recommendations you could make about our health, for one, and our mental preparedness for what's about to happen, what's unfolding before us? What should the contemporary citizen keep in mind? If you could give us a summary, or a quick statement in that regard.
Well, the globalists, the Zionists who did this, who launched this biological and technological weapons attack on humanity, they are completely exposed. When there's no going back, we know who they are. All the information is out in the public. They are desperate. Their time is coming to, they're on the way out. I mean, not yet. They still have the weapons, and they're going to do everything they can this year to try to silence and censor. They're already doing public executions with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We can expect to see more of that. They are going to try everything in their power to manipulate us. One thing that I need, but in the end, I think things are going to open up in 2027. And things, basically we have two choices. We can go with them in their camp and take their poisons and become robotic slaves, and, or we can create a whole new system. And we cannot fix the system that exists. Even the judicial system is completely corrupt. So we have to create an entirely new system for humanity on this earth. That's every one of us. Everyone has a mantle. Everyone has a gift. And what we were born to do that comes from the soul. It's beyond the material. So we have to get in touch with that and start planning for what are we going to contribute to this future, to the new earth. Because, the majority of people are awakened now. 75% of Americans are no longer paying taxes to this tyrannical government. That means Americans know that the government is tyrannical, because our U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights tells us what to do in the case of the government turning on their constituents, which they have done. So that is hopeful. That is our power and our strength is noncompliance. But we have to be ready to take responsibility for our health and to start to create a new system that we want to live in. We don't need pharma. We don't need the governments. We don't need them. There is a natural solution for every ailment. There is a root cause of every disease, and it is fixable. And I've been experiencing this for the last 6 years. I've been, reversing incurable diseases, supposedly incurable diseases. So anything is possible. Nature has the antidotes. Nature has the cure. And there is a way, to get your health back. And we just have to stay on protocols. If you are poisoned with a vaccine, you need more supplements. But if you still have an immune system and you're just struggling, even 3 supplements are enough. Masterpiece, blue-green algae, and pine needle essential oil, or turpentine. It doesn't have to be expensive. And so the solutions exist to protect ourselves and to detox the poison faster than it's coming in. This has been clinically studied and proven by Masterpiece. They're doing a lot of really high-tech clinical research. They've been greatly defamed as well, so we need people to share the information. And they do have a profit share system. It's not an MLM, but when you have to register to order, and then you automatically get generated a link. And when you share that link with your friends and family, you will get a percentage of the profit. and it goes into they save it, and then they'll transfer it to your bank account. So it's a win-win for everybody. We have to hang in there. This year is going to be tough, I think so, and we're going to be hit really hard, but it won't last forever. And we have to keep our sights on the future and the new earth that we want to live in. And we're going to have to create that ourselves. No one's going to do it for us. So it's a mindset. We have to shift our mindset and, unite. Our power is strength in numbers, and we're already awake. That's the first step. So there's no going back for them. They've exposed themselves, and we just have to go forward and do what we can to protect ourselves and protect our health and remain alive and dignified. And living with the earth, I think, is the best thing that we can do. Living in the nature and cultivating the land, it's the smartest thing we can do right now.
Yeah, that sounds very wise. And we're almost out of time, so I would love if you take your time, Dr. Love, and just tell us all the channels where we can follow you. Mention the Substack again, your X account, your personal website. Just take your time and say it so that everyone could write it down. Hopefully, go grab a pencil, everyone, so you can keep up with the great work of Dr. Ariyana Love.
Okay, so you can follow me on Substack. That's a lot of my geopolitical news and writings and patent review. That's at DR for Dr. Love Ariyana. My X account is the same handle, at Dr. Love Ariyana. And then I do have a Telegram channel. The handle is at Real DR for Dr. Love. I do post immediate updates there. And then, you can order the supplements I've mentioned at my online store. It's DR for Dr. Love's with an S, Dr. Love's Apothecary. drlovesapothecary.com. There's a shop. I also have the Forest Euphoria Elixir that does DNA repair. That's on the Wild Harvest page. And then I have another website for consultations. That's drfordrlove.live. And both of those websites have contact forms, and they come straight to my email, and I can get right back to you. I do, free 15-minute discovery calls. So, I can help people, if it's no longer than 20 minutes, I have no problem with doing that. And let's see, what else? I think that's it.
Yeah, well, that's quite a bit. And I hope you guys keep up with Dr. Love's work. She's extremely unique in her approach and perspective, and she has knowledge that I don't think is really being covered by anyone else in some cases. So, it's definitely information that you should partake in and help disseminate. And same thing for this program. Like I said, we're on YouTube now. We haven't been censored yet. So please go to @the Bassline, BASSLINE podcast, and it should pop up. And all the interviews are there, and there's going to be more and more material uploaded to there. And also, of course, thebassline.podbean.com. That's the first place where our archives are held. And please join the Stop the Shots community on X. We're approaching 5,000 members. I would really love if some of you PRN listeners could venture into the X interface and join our community and help us reach that 5,000 person milestone. We have lively conversations every night, and you can grab a mic yourself and participate. But we're fresh out of time, everyone. I want to thank you again, Dr. Love, for all that you're doing. Thanks for being so generous with your time and knowledge. Look forward to speaking to you soon. And everyone, please have a great weekend. Stay strong. Keep fighting the good fight. And please spread the word about what we're doing here at the Bassline. We're not going to stop until these matters are resolved. So take care. Stay strong. Talk to you soon.
When you walk with open arms towards the sun, you feel the warmth of the rays, and then you know you're alive and you don't have to be afraid.